Next here tonight to the presidential race and the Republican field and the growing question now hanging in the balance. Could Florida's presidential primary in March be the deciding contest for the GOP nomination? One powerful Republican says yes, and the numbers appear to back it up. Capitol reporter Forrest Saunders joining us live tonight from Tallahassee. And Forrest, a long way to go here, but the Sunshine State is prime real estate in politics.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Paul. I mean, we do have a long way to go until we get to the presidential preference election here for the primary in the state of Florida. But if you are one of those Republicans that is vying for the GOP nomination in 2024, you got to be looking at the Sunshine State and thinking, boy, I would sure love to grab all of the delegates at play here. And we do have a new poll out that suggests there is a clear favorite. New Florida Atlantic polling out Monday morning showed former President Donald Trump retains a commanding lead with GOP voters in the Sunshine State. Pollsters found Trump has a 20-point margin over Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis, who, despite improving 7 points since April, remains a distant second.
What's your strategy for catching up?
Well, first, I think it's pretty clear that the media does not want me to be the candidate.
Hours later on Fox News, DeSantis defended his position and suggested the media was among the reasons for his lack of traction.
At the end of the day, I think the fact that I'm the one that's targeted by the media, by the left, even by the president of Mexico, is because people know that I will beat Biden.
A MAGA spokeswoman later called DeSantis' comments delusional, but he does have time to make some gains. Florida's primary isn't until mid-March, and if things tighten up, the state party chair thinks Florida could be decisive as a winner-take-all, with 10% of the delegates needed to win the nomination.
We might see where, Trump, DeSantis, they go state by state, they're battling it out, and then they get to Florida, and with such a lump of delegates that are going to be awarded in Florida, it does really highlight the importance of Florida.
Chair Christian Ziegler also defended Florida's new loyalty pledge. It requires candidates support the eventual nominee and not run third party in the general election. That could split the vote, benefiting Democrats.
Look, we're tired of the Liz Cheneys and the Adam, Kinzingers out there that get elected as Republicans and work against Republicans. We're tired of giving a stage and resources to help people that end up turning on us at the end.
But beyond Florida, the latest national trends also suggest a one-sided GOP primary. Election analysts at Race to the White House predict DeSantis won't win a single state if other candidates stay in the race. If they drop out, he nabs just 4.
Thank you.
The caveat, the primaries are still months away, and polls at this distance often not the best. Political experts say summer is a big reason why.
People across the United States have other things going on. They're celebrating holidays with families. They're on vacation. They're not picking up their phone to answer public opinion surveys.
Perhaps more engaged voters will change the GOP tides, which for now have Trump sailing in smoother waters than his GOP rivals. Now, one more detail that we did get over the weekend is the date for those vital Iowa caucuses. Those are going to be happening January 15th, and then about a week later, we will have the New Hampshire primaries. Both of those contests very, very important to this pile of GOP candidates, because if they can make a win there, they can get some momentum and take it with them for the rest of the primary. Paul?
Yeah, right now the dog days of summer, no doubt, Forrest. And you mentioned that poll just a few moments ago, also asking Floridians which side that they support in the governor's fight against Disney. And it doesn't show overwhelming support for either side. This week, an Orange County judge set to rule on tossing out the lawsuit from the new special district state board that's against Disney. So what kind of role, if any, is this going to play in the DeSantis campaign moving forward?
Well, I tell you, if I'm Governor Ron DeSantis, I'm looking at those metrics and I'm saying to myself, one of the things I do see here is that it's a very partisan divide for Florida voters. If you are a Republican, you tend to believe that the governor is in the right, and that's something that's going to embolden him to use this as a staple in his efforts to win the GOP primary. So regardless of what happens in the courts, he's probably going to keep pushing the narrative that he has, which is that Disney does not deserve any of these special privileges, and that really what the governor and the state government are trying to do is to level the playing field for all corporations here in the state of Florida. Democrats, of course, pushing back and saying that this is all an attack for Disney, expressing its First Amendment views on a controversial law last year.
Yeah, and over the weekend, Forrest, Donald Trump blasting Ron DeSantis in a series of Truth Social posts claiming that DeSantis is trying to figure out an exit ramp on the presidential race, hard to believe, while saving saving face for 2028. The former president, though, also calling attention to DeSantis' own campaign strategist, Steve Cortez, who not only admitted that DeSantis is in quite the hole right now, but then went on to say in the very same interview on Twitter Spaces that Trump was a better debater. Any reaction from Team DeSantis on where they are right now?
Yeah, the DeSantis campaign continues to say the same thing over and over again, which is don't look at the polls right now. Trust that we are building a ground game here that will pay off when we get closer to the primaries, closer to the Iowa caucuses. They are saying that their ground game is second to none right now, including Never Back Down, which is the DeSantis super PAC. They're saying they've invested a lot of time and effort on the ground game out in states like Iowa and New Hampshire, and that it's going to pay dividends when it actually comes to those early selections.
All right, months to go before we sleep. Forrest Saunders, live in Tallahassee. Thank you very much, sir.